NMLS number 170960. Broadview Mortgage Corporation is licensed by the Department of Business Oversight under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act. License number 170952. Registered with the Nationwide Mortgage Licensing System and registry number 813B544. Broadview Mortgage, equal housing lender. Remember, if you never want to make a house payment again, except for property taxes, maintenance, and insurance, that's 800-566-2475. That's 800-566-2475.
The holiday season is upon us.
Ho, ho, ho.
And here comes all the little shopping elves. As a small business, it's a joyous time. But wait a minute. Where are all those elves? Why aren't the 4 million elves in the Elfland Empire hearing about your great holiday deals and hightailing their elf toes to your website or store?
It's all about the Prancermans!
Why? You have a shiny store. Why? You have a great website. Stand out among the dozens of your competitors. Do something different this year. Advertise on Kcaa. Right now, elves are putting their elf money in your competitors' pockets. Change it up and put their elf jingle in your jingle pockets. Even the most broke elves can afford to get their messages on Kcaa. At Kcaa, we've got a holiday package for everyone. Don't be left out in the cold. Call a Kcaa elf today at 909-793-1065 or log on to kcaaradio.com and advertise.
You can't afford not to!
Miss your favorite show? Download the podcast at kcaaradio.com.
Hello and welcome to Let's Go Shopping with Bev. This show brought to you by Starflight Entertainment. Music by Dr. Bombay and the Blue Machine Band. Song title Living in Paradise. Now here's Bev.
Well, welcome to the show, everybody, and happy holidays to you. And I hope you're out there doing whatever you need to be doing and you're having fun. And if you read my post this morning, you're going to know that this show is with our radio family. And we're going to be talking about our favorite movies, memories, foods, all this good stuff about the holidays. And if somebody would like to call in, you know the number, and if you don't, let us know, and we'll tell you what the number is. Brandon, should we tell them what the number is?
Sure.
Okay, would you like to do it, or do you want I?
The number is 909-792-KCAA. That's 909-792-5222.
And there you go. And it's going to be fun. We're going to be playing a lot of good Christmas music and a lot of giggles. And first of all, I know how we're going to start this. Rich is our sidekick. He's with us, sitting on my side. And then Brandon, our famous board up. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be able to do this program because he takes care of all that jazz over there.
He pushes the buttons and switches the knobs and...
Yeah, and make the magic. And when somebody goes kaplunky, he plunks it and the whole thing.
Kerplunky?
Yes. That's a very good word. Everybody knows what kaplunky means.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
I think I do.
Okay. Now, Brandon, I'm going to put you on the spot just because. Do you happen to have that one little silly song that we're always humming?
I do.
Okay. Guys, get ready. Get in the mood. It's Hanukkah and Christmas in one show. Yay!
So I actually pulled this up because I looked up the top 10 Christmas movies of all time. And this one's number 10.
Only number 10. I thought it'd be number 1.
It's one of my favorites, but this is according to Rotten Tomatoes.
What's number 1?
Let me scroll down the list here. Number 1, are you ready?
Yes.
It's A Wonderful Life.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I had a feeling that would be it. You know, that was a fantastic movie.
In black and white.
It has to stay in black and white. Yes. And the other thing, talking about Charlie Brown and all of his little characters, right?
And Linus and Lucy.
Yeah, the whole gang out there. Now, if you're looking around for some of their coloring books, some of their movies, all of that, right? If you find a place, let me know. You thought I was going to tell you a place, right?
I'm waiting.
Yes. No, I've been looking for a couple of the movies, and I just can't find them. So I don't know if they're all sold out and not restocked or what.
But you can get some of that stuff off the net so easy these days, right, Brandon?
Yeah, part of the reason that all of the video stores went out of business is because it's so easy to get a movie online, download it, and never think about it again.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. Call me old-fashioned. When it comes to this time of year, I like to wrap things and watch people unwrap things and the excitement and stuff.
Yeah, if you're giving it as a gift, a code isn't as good as a CD.
That's right.
Some people like to own an object, like an old record or a CD. They like to be able to hold it and then play it. There are people who like that.
You know what? It's kind of weird because I prefer to own things digitally. But if someone gave me a code to redeem, some Christmas movie or something like that, I would. Oh man, I kind of wish you gave me gave me the DVD, and I don't know why that is. Why I would rather get a DVD as a gift, but if I'm gonna buy it for myself, I'd rather own it digitally. Maybe it's just because in the hands, a code doesn't feel special.
Yes, you got it, and you got to have that special magic feeling.
That's almost like a digital ice cream cone. It wouldn't be the same. You couldn't eat the thing.
And the very first thing I'm going to do is rip it and make it digital, but still, I want the real thing if it's going to be a gift. So that's a little weird.
It is weird. And talking about this, now, I would like to start first, all right? Talking about our favorite memories, because it's about the memories and the fun and the laughter, the giggling, the food. Did I mention the food?
Oh, God.
Yes, and all the good food, and building the snowmen and everything. I think my very first memory of Christmas, now this is going way back when, right around the Flintstone era, I think that's when it started, talking about my favorite gift. And I'll never forget this. I was about 5 years old. And every year we would be at another relative's house because the family was huge. When you put the whole family together, you had over 300 people, and I'm not joking. I mean, it was gigantically huge.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And there was this doll, and it was a little doll, and it was Susie Webb. And it was a little plastic doll and stuff, and I really liked it. So that's the only thing I asked for. So when we were younger, we would go to midnight mass. Next morning, we were home on Christmas morning. And my dad woke up, and he had this favorite plaid bathrobe that he wore on Christmas. It's the only time he wore it. And he would get everybody lined up by size. We had to march around the tree and all this jazz. And so we finally got to open the presents. And I remember I got that doll. And my mother says, "Oh my goodness, I forgot something. I'll be right back." So she goes into her bedroom, and a few minutes later she comes out with another box. Well, it was a cradle for that doll.
She was thinking about you,
Yeah, and I'll never forget that. Never forget that one. So, Brandon, what is your favorite Christmas?
My favorite Christmas memory? I don't think I have a favorite Christmas song. I have a favorite Christmas movie. I have a favorite Christmas dish, which I can't even eat anymore, but it's still my favorite.
What are they?
But I don't have a favorite memory.
That's sad. Oh, we must correct that.
You have Alzheimer's, right?
I don't. I think my favorite thing. You know what? All right. Here's something. The closest thing I can think of to a memory is 1 year for Christmas. It wasn't on Christmas Day, but it was for Christmas. My grandparents own this mountaintop property, and I don't know where it is, but it was a lot of fun because they had those sleds that are meant to slide down hills even when they're not snowy. And so we went sledding. There was just no snow, and it was a lot of fun.
That sounds like a blast.
It was. So I think I'd have to pick that.
That's a cool one. I like that one.
Sounds like a Polish ski slope. You go skiing, no snow.
Well, what's your favorite one?
Well, I just went blank. No, I didn't. It was a Christmas that my mother gave me my first train set, a Lionel train set. And as you know, I'm more than crazy about trains. My heaven is filled with trains. So I knew it was there because I saw her hide it under the bed, and I assumed that's what it was. And when I got that thing, I was in triple heaven.
Oh, yeah?
Because I love trains. And ever since, I love trains. I graduated to HO gauge, to professional gauge, but it was that year I got the train set.
There you go. And what were you, about 25, 26?
Months?
I couldn't resist that one. I could not resist that one. And the other thing now, before we get really rolling, and we have a few minutes, what I'd like to do is have a big shout out to Fred, the owner of our station right here on KCAA 1050 AM. And all of us here would like to thank him for starting this radio station many, many, many years ago up in Big Bear. That's where he started it. And if it wasn't for him, we would not be here today.
Absolutely true.
So Fred, from all of us, from your family here, to you and your family, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, and thank you very much for starting this radio station. And I hope we continue for many, 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 many more years.
Yes, now that we've moved to our new
Location,
building,
right here in Redlands. Yeah, it's absolutely
It's
gorgeous.
a beautiful building. It's a beautiful parking lot, nice and big, plenty of parking, stores around, and very, very nice.
It is. And now moving on down, since we talked about the memories, we got more memories. We'll be talking about them as
They're
time
fading
goes on.
fast, though.
Yeah, are they? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. That happens when you get that old.
I know, yes.
Yeah, that's kind of sad. Hey, Brandon, let's talk about one of my favorite subjects.
Is it food?
Oh, yeah, you guessed it.
Woohoo!
Yay, you know me. So what is your favorite? I'm going to break it down in 4 sections.
Let's go.
Okay? For your favorite dessert around Christmas time.
You know what? I don't know what desserts are traditional for Christmas.
Cakes, cookies,
Just anything
ice
you
cream.
like.
Anything I
Pies,
like. Okay. My favorite dessert is vanilla ice cream with a shot of espresso.
Ooh, my kind of person.
I don't know if that's particularly Christmassy, but that's my favorite dessert.
There
Who
you
cares?
go.
It's dessert.
Right? Yeah. And do you put the whipped cream up on top of it?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. And do you put a little bit of nutmeg on top of that?
I have never tried that.
Try a little bit of the nutmeg. Ooh, that's a nice.
I'll try that the next time I have vanilla ice cream and espresso.
Yeah, and then call me and tell me what you thought of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is your favorite snack?
Snack at Christmas.
After you ripped open all those presents.
You know, so I usually spend Christmas Day at my great aunt's house. And she makes some very, very good fudge. So I think I'd have to go with her fudge, because that's not dessert at her house. That is, they're cut into cubes and they're available all day.
Ooh,
Mm.
my kind of person.
Yes.
And it is so good. So I think that would be my favorite snack. I don't know how much fudge qualifies as a snack. I think it's technically a dessert, but she makes it as a snack.
Well, on a holiday, who cares?
Well,
Yeah.
you
Right?
could have potato chips or something like that and dip or whatever. That would be more of a snack, but
Right.
I like the fudge idea.
yeah.
Well, and she'll also do, she'll also make her own sort of Chex Mix sort of thing.
Oh.
And she'll make her own chocolate sauce with a little bit of sea salt in it, and that's really good too.
Oh, that sounds good now. I never tried that before.
It's really good. She knows how to make some good snacks.
Ooh, we got to go over to her house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So far, you're
Yeah.
going down down the line I'd be on, except I'd have coffee ice cream.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love espresso ice cream, but you can't beat vanilla ice cream with espresso and sort of dig a hole in the vanilla ice cream and put an espresso shot in there.
Inside of it,
You
yeah.
can't beat that. Coffee ice cream is not as good as that is.
You know what's interesting though, and you can't bring it home or whatever too well, but it's the soft ice cream you get at a couple of the stores. I usually get a shake, like not a shake, but a root beer float with soft ice cream. It has a much different texture and taste than regular ice cream.
Yeah. So do you have a favorite dessert?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you.
Ice cream.
Ice cream. All right.
Coffee ice cream or vanilla with chocolate syrup or coffee syrup or something on it.
All right.
Yeah.
And what about you, Bev? You're holding out on us.
Cheesecake.
Cheesecake. All right.
Oh,
Cheesecake.
absolutely.
That's very New York of you.
Yeah. Wait, what can I say? You know, and around the holidays, I'll get some berries or something to, give it some razzmatazz. But yeah, cheesecake has always been my favorite, no matter what.
What about that cake you used to hold the doors open with? What are they?
Oh, I'm glad you reminded
What?
me. The fruit cake.
Fruit cake.
Oh, yeah. Okay, guys, everywhere in the universe, because you can hear us through the United States and 100 countries and probably beyond that at this point, talking about fruit cake. Guys, I kid you not. My sister, let's leave it like that, right? What she would do is she would make fruit cake and pass it out to everybody. I always hated fruit cake. I really did. And so one year she gave it to me. I tried to give it to the neighbors. Nobody wanted it. My dog didn't want. Nobody wanted it. And I says, So I got looking at the colors. True story. So I took the saran wrap off and put clear saran wrap so you could see it. And then I put that polyurethane all over it. And I put 2 coats on it. And it dried. It was the best doorstop I ever had.
So okay, fruitcake is an East Coast thing because I have never seen it. I've never had it, and I'm very curious about it. Everyone tells me it's awful. That doesn't stop me. I really want to know what it's like.
I'll tell
Every
you
time you
what.
pass an open door, look down, see if there's one there.
I'll tell you what. Just for you, my dear. Okay.
Oh no!
I will find you a fruitcake,
Woohoo!
and I will bring it to you.
All right.
Okay.
Tutti frutti.
And then if you don't like it, get the clear saran wrap, wrap it up, put that polyurethane. Boy, you got a doorstop. It could even be on the back of your tires for if you don't have any brakes and you're afraid the car's going to go
yeah,
away.
downhill.
Put it behind the tires.
You like how I'm excited for something everyone hates?
Yeah, curiosity, huh?
Yeah,
Curiosity.
it is curiosity.
Yeah.
Now, I have to say again, folks, if you're listening to this show, do not be afraid to call in. If you have something that's crazy like we're going here out in left field, come on, call in and tell it to us. We want to hear it.
Yes.
Today's the day.
Yes.
And
Now,
Brandon, what's that number again?
909-792-5222. 909-792-KCAA.
There you go.
Yep, the easiest number to
And
remember.
the crazier the thing is, the quicker you got to call in.
Yes. And then also back to food. All right, so we went through the desserts, we went through the snacks, we went through the fruit cakey thingy, right? All right, for any dinner, let's say any dinner, just not only Christmas. What is your favorite dinner, Brandon?
My favorite dinner. It's also one I can't have anymore.
Okay.
It is barbecue ribs.
Oh, yes, that's beautiful.
I haven't had barbecued ribs in years because of the sugar.
I don't eat meat anymore, but that used to be my favorite. My current favorite is sushi.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Well, wait a minute.
Or out of the things I can eat, I guess.
Wait a minute. You don't eat meat because it's an animal?
No, I don't eat meat because it's hard on your stomach, whereas
Oh, okay.
fish
I was gonna-
isn't hard on your stomach.
I was going to give you a hard time and say I don't eat meat because it's an animal, but I eat fish, which is
Oh no,
a fish.
it's not. It's not for moral reasons.
Okay.
Okay, so,
Darn, I couldn't play with that one.
right. So what is your favorite dinner?
I actually have a couple of them. Ribs done right with a nice sweet barbecue sauce. I love turkey, around Thanksgiving with the cranberry sauce and all and lots of ketchup. I would like a ham, the one from, you know, the store.
No, I don't.
She's gonna just make me figure it out.
Well, why you say
The ham store that's so expensive,
Is it honey baked?
honey baked, just absolutely wonderful.
That's my favorite Christmas.
But you have to save up, you know, half your salary for the year. But it's I love it, and the ham like that, and that's the two probably would
Yeah.
be the ham,
and the ribbies?
and the ribbies, and the turkey.
Turkey.
What about you, Bev?
I have, well, being Sicilian,
Oh,
Yes,
one other thing
What?
before you go. C's candy.
oh yeah, okay.
Can't
he
be-
keeps them in
oh.
business.
My daughter, I get a package on the porch yesterday, and I'm going, I didn't order anything. So I see my daughter's name on it from her, and I'm going, that's got to be a Christmas present. Open it up, box of C's candy. Said, you couldn't
Yep.
send me a better present.
Okay, I'll remember that. Well, with mine, for my favorite dinner, I really, really mean this, right? Give me a good lasagna. I mean, made like we used to make back home,
I could go for that.
where we always called it gravy, where you guys call it spaghetti sauce. For us, it was always gravy. That's, you know, and you make the gravy a couple of days before, you know, you let it simmer, and then it's
Let it
all done.
age?
Yes, you do. It's really good. And then with the fresh tomatoes and all this other
Tomatoes?
vegetables. Yes. And
So
then,
can you use yesterday's instead of tomatoes?
yes.
Okay.
And
Just checking.
We always put about 5 different kinds of meat in it, and 4 different kinds of cheeses, and just layer that mommy as big as we want. Lasagna was always my favorite. And then next to that, give me a good T-bone steak.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love T-bone steak. And then chicken, of course. I like chicken and I like fish. Yeah, but that lasagna, there you go.
She's gone all over the place, you know that?
Yeah. You know, that's what I am. But, Brandon, I'm with you with all the veggies. I'm a very big veggie eater, and the fresher they are, the happier we get.
Oh man, fresh veggies, there's nothing better. Mm-hmm. But fresh veggies aren't always super easy to find.
Yeah, especially this time of year.
Yeah.
Well, those things you put in the little dip plates with the dip for Christmas or a holiday, the vegetables, different things, you know, cauliflower, this, that, whatever.
Right.
Those are good. I mean, but the dip helps to make it. It gives it that extra flavor.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that just means you like ranch.
Yes, I do. And Thousand Island, or as my mother used to say, Thousand Island.
Yeah, that was funny the way she said that. And if you just tuned in, you're listening to Let's Go Shopping with Bev right here on KCAA 1050 AM, the station that leaves no listener behind. And we are Brandon and I and Rich are here, and some of our crew is at other locations now, and some of them at another location for the Christmas party.
Yeah, I was
later
going to
on
say the
today.
big secret is the
Right.
Christmas party.
And they're over there working. And what we're doing is talking about our favorite things about the holidays. Christmas, New Year's, Hanukkah, Thanksgiving, mainly Christmas and Hanukkah right now. And if you guys have a favorite story that you want to share, call 909-792-5222. And there you go.
One of my favorite things is the smells.
Oh, yes.
I love the smells.
Especially with the fresh cinnamon and then the smell of the fresh pine cones. Oh, yeah.
You know, we talk about all these things we like, and those of us who have animals, cats or dogs or orangutans.
Hey,
as
you
Bev
leave,
was-
you leave Lizzie out of this.
Oh, okay.
Lizzie
But-
is my orangutan.
But anyway, you have some food you like, and you think your pet is going to like it, and you put it down for them. A dog might take a sniff and walk away, but a cat will go over there and scratch it like he just did something in the cat box. He's really letting you know this is for you know what. I watch him do that, and I get a laugh every time. He's
Yeah,
just
that-
scratching and going, "Yeah, come on."
Well, talking about food, since this show is about shopping, I went on a snoop attack for
Uh-oh.
2 days. and went on the Snoop attack to let you all know. Probably everybody in the country knows about this, but I'm going to remind you. I was in Stater Brothers 2 different times. Their hams are on sale, guys.
Oh.
Gorgeous, gorgeous hams. And if you think it's too big, the butcher will cut it in half for you. Or you take it home and you get the nice big, thick freezer bags. I mean, the good freezer bags, right? And you can cut your ham up in different sizes, and you can pop them in the fridge. They will stay good for almost a year inside your freezer. The same way with your turkey, your roast beef, all of the good things. Ribs, not so long in the freezer. I'd say a couple of months, and then, you got to get them out of there.
With the ham or turkey, you could slice it up, keep it in the fridge, and as you walk by, take a bite.
Well, that's why they call them leftovers.
Yes, and already ready to, just open the door and say, oh, yeah, I'll take that piece, and go on about your business.
And then make the best midnight snacks.
Oh, yes.
You're watching a movie, a commercial comes on, you get the munchies, you can slam everything on a plate and get back to the telly before the commercials are done.
With the length of commercials today,
that's what I'm saying. You can get back in plenty of time. And then the other thing, one of my favorite stores to shop in, Trader Joe's.
Oh, yes.
I went bananas in that store. They double, triple loaded up on everything.
Oh, that's where you get your bananas. That's right. That's where you went bananas.
Right, and everything that you can think of. Definitely go to Trader Joe's. 100% natural, straight across the board. And talking about the veggies, oh, Brandon, you got to go down there and check out the veggies. You're going to be a happy camper.
What do they have?
Everything you can think of.
Awesome.
Yes.
I'm looking up right now because it kind of occurred to me. I have no idea what I'm going to eat for Christmas.
You can come up to our house. You're more than welcome. I have enough veggies to feed an army.
So I looked up recipes. The first one that came out looks so good. It's balsamic glazed roasted cauliflower.
Ooh.
That sounds good.
That's different.
Oh, write it down, please.
It's got to be good if it's got balsamic. It's such a technical word. I couldn't even spell it.
Here's another one.
Yes.
Garlic butter potatoes.
Oh,
Ooh.
I love making that. And they use the fresh garlic, correct?
You know what? I'm not actually viewing the recipes, just the titles of things.
Okay, because how I do mine, and I like to get the new potatoes. And they have all different kinds of potatoes out there. But I kind of like the new potatoes. And I bake them for a little bit. And I make the extra. I can cut them open, put them in. And then what I do is I get the onions, and I either use the scallion or the red onions and the fresh garlic. You saute that up in a little bit of butter, just to get them tender. And then you stuff the inside of your potato. And then you put your lovely cheese on top of it and let it finish baking. That's a good. And then when it's all done, and mix a little bit of the vinaigrette, and when you put the onions and garlic in, put a little of that in while you're sauteing it.
Brandon, I'm listening to all this, and I feel like Pavlov's dog.
Why is that?
Salivating over all this food. Oh, I'm getting hungrier by the minute. My stomach is already making noises. I feel like somebody cut my throat, and the food didn't get down there. I got to go eat.
They are such a joke, but we're on
Whatever
air.
they're going to have for the dinner tonight at the party, just save half of it for me.
Uh-huh.
I'll wolf it down.
We'll see what happens. And did you find another recipe?
Cinnamon brown sugar acorn squash.
Ooh, that's another good one. And use the fresh cinnamon, not the ground that's there. Get your cinnamon stick, and you have a little grater, and grate the cinnamon nice and fresh.
As a birthday gift, I got a coffee grinder. And coffee grinders, because they're resizable, they can grind whatever you want them to.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be perfect for grounding the cinnamon.
Yes.
So if you have one of those, you don't have to get a different grinder for that. You can just use a coffee grinder. Just make sure you screw it in a little bit more than you normally would.
There you go. And I'll tell you, them coffee grinders, they work beautifully on so many different things. You know, people have to think outside the box.
Yeah, actually, speaking of thinking outside the box, my food processor stopped working and I was making hummus. So you know what I used?
No, what?
I got a coffee grinder because an electric coffee grinder can't make a consistent ground. But it can blend up anything else. So I used my electric coffee grinder for making hummus.
That's a brilliant idea.
And it worked just as good, if not a little bit better, than a normal food processor.
You know, and I'm not too crazy about them food processors. I
You know-
never really
you know,
was.
Speaking of mixing and grinding and grounding, I just thought of what used to be my favorite thing to have for a kind of a drink.
What?
You ready for this?
Oh, Lord, what?
Nice big glass, eggs, flour, sugar, and milk, all mixed together, with a little cream in it maybe too. Blend it all up and drink that sucker.
Okay, let's keep on moving on here.
The only problem is I gained a lot of weight.
Yeah, well, talking about food, we're talking with Brandon.
If
here
anybody can beat that, by the way, excuse me, Bev, if anybody can beat that, call in and tell us. We're waiting.
Okay, well, talking about all of that, and we'll get back to the food thing there. The other place that is a very good place to go shopping this time of year is Vons.
Why?
Because they have some really good sales going on, like the frozen pies and that Cool Whip. All of that good stuff is on sale.
No, you like Vons because you can get your coffee there at Starbucks in the store.
I think
Shop and drink.
I think I know where every Starbucks is. I really do.
You do, from number one on.
Yes. And then also to get back to food, the other thing, talking about funny memories, is when we were younger and we used to go to my grandma's, my dad's mom. And she had a huge house. Well, you know, when you're little, everything looks bigger than what it really is.
Oh, yes.
And what she used to do is she had these lovely round tables, like little end tables and this and that. And she would have these dishes with a 2 or 3 or 4 tier dishes. Everywhere you looked in that house, these dishes were there with all different kinds of cookies. You name it, it was on that thing. And she even had one in the restroom. She figured, hey, you got to go. You get hungry there. The cookie
Eat
is
and
there.
go?
There you go. That's the way she was, right? Well, my sister Joyce loved them cookies. And so everybody was over there, and so Joyce made sure nobody was really watching how many cookies that she was eating. But my Grammy, I think she had eyes in the back of her head and on the side of her head, and she had this radar tower because she knew what everybody was doing all at the same time. She was amazing. When we finally got to the dinner table, now mind you, a huge Sicilian family with food, any kind of food you can think of was always on that table. And poor Joyce ended up getting sick because of all the cookies that she ate. So my, Grammy being Grammy, she goes, hey, come here. So she took her into the spare bedroom, put her to bed, this and that. And so she missed the dinner. She thought, well, when we were leaving, she had this picnic basket. It's about like this round, about this high. Every food that was on that table was wrapped up for my sister Joyce to take home for her, for she had her Christmas dinner.
What a good deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brandon is still looking at a computer at menus and other stuff. He's real good at that. He can research songs, dinners.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's so fast. Lightning fast. There's lightning in there. You got to watch you don't get hit.
That's not it's not safe around all of this equipment.
Oh, and talking about equipment, people looking for guitars and all of that good stuff, and drums and all of that good stuff for gifts.
I'm sure lots of people are.
Do you think that they bought them already?
You know what? People like to wait till the last minute for just about anything, so I'm going to guess that they haven't.
Okay, well, with that, do you know where they could go?
Where's that?
It begins with a G. The first name's a G, the second name begins with a C.
Is it the Noki Center?
Close. How about Guitar Center?
That's the... Okay, I messed up.
Yeah.
The Guitar Center.
Yeah.
Oh, did
Now,
we get that one by
I'm
you?
going to tell you, Holy Toledo, if I knew how to play an instrument and I wanted a new one, that's a place I would go. They are blowing this stuff out the door. It's unbelievable.
It's a great place to shop for all kinds of musical instruments, and everything goes with that.
Yes. And then they have the books with the music in it, with the notes and all of this. They even do sometimes free rapping. And Guitar Center is another very good place. So if you have a small toddler, child, or a young adult, or somebody around our age, and they want to learn an instrument, take them down to Kcaa Center. They even give lessons. Now that's a nice gift.
Yes, and speaking of lessons, you can also go up on Highland Avenue to Bertrand's.
Yes, I was going to say them next.
Yes,
Yes.
Bertrand's Music up on Highland Avenue. They give lessons,
They give more lessons, I think, than Kcaa Center.
probably.
Yes.
So another place to go if you're in San Bernardino.
And I like both of the places. I know a lot of the people in both of the places, So they're real, and both of them been in business, it seems like forever.
Yes.
You know?
And you just like to go to Guitar Center and look at all the stuff. And I wish I knew how to play that, I'll buy that. I wish I knew how to play that, I'll buy that.
And the other thing that I like about the other one, Bertram's, is I know in them people forever, over 20 years now. And they're very friendly and stuff. We go in, I just go in and we just visit, and just have a good time and what have you. So there are some very good last minute gifts. And then if you are looking for a certain piece of luggage, or our handbags, purses, we call them the luggage, right? The shoes, any of that, right? Last minute items, do you know where you're going to go?
No.
Take a wild guess.
Mars.
Nah.
You said wild.
No. It begins with a J.
Begins with a J.
Yeah.
You're going to have to tell me.
J.C. Penney's.
Oh?
They have some good sales going on right now. And Burlington Coat Factory has another good one.
Oh, you like Burlington.
Then if you want that one-of-a-kind item, go down to Redlands and go down to State Street. And you have to pop in to Deva's. That I've been shopping and know on that shop forever. I know in the family forever. Holy Toledo, I was like a little kid in a candy shop the last time I was in there. Absolutely fabulous stuff that's going on. The sales, they're right there where they, for it's easier for no matter what kind of income that you have to spend, you can go and you can spend without that guilt feeling on it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the Bag Ladies is another good place in Redlands. And the whole street
Yes.
on State. That's the place to shop.
Now, speaking about something I love, trains, if you're shopping for them, you'd have to go to Orange County or L.A. In Orange County, you have Arnie's Trains, a couple other stores. Just look them up on the net, model trains. Most of them are down that way now. Most of the Inland Empire ones closed. But to get real good deals, go on the net and go to the site Train World Trainland in Brooklyn, New York, and Long Island. That's Train World and Trainland. They've got lots of stuff. And I bought quite a few things from them. They have professional high-end stuff for the super hobbyist, and they have, the Polar Express and different things like that. And Walther's model trains, they're in the Midwest. Another place, a big site, lots of stuff, and you can buy the first train set for the children and all that, get good prices. The other thing I do, because I'm a cheapskate, is I type this stuff into eBay. If I want to say Walther's model trains and type it into eBay, it'll show the best prices that are available there. and let's say the Polar Express. See if somebody's discounting the thing for you, and eBay is just great.
Yeah. One thing I don't like about eBay and all of them, right? Yeah, some people do it. It's easier. It's faster for them, right?
Cheaper.
And a little bit, right? But what bothers me, this really bothers me, when these guys came up, they started hurting our independent shops. And guys, you can stay home in your jammies or whatever and do all of this stuff on the computer, but you're missing out on the excitement of walking into a shop, get to know the owners and this and that, and you start talking and all the giggling and being around the people and
the
and what have
touchy-feely.
you. Yeah, the touchy-feely. And that's what I think is happening to a lot of our shops is people would rather stay home in their jams than to go out and visit and have a good time.
Well, a lot of the shops are getting smart, and they're starting their own little websites.
Yeah, they got that too.
So you want to do that, you can do that. And you can also see what they got, and then maybe you decide you want to go down there anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't buy a pair of shoes without trying them on.
That's with anything, any kind of clothing, shoes, whatever.
And my favorite shoes are by SAS.
Yep.
San Antonio Shoe Company in Texas, built in America. I love these things. They last me for 10 years. It's just unbelievable. I love SAS shoes. And it's just one of those things. When I bumped into that, I never had to worry about looking for something again. And I have a closet full of shoes I don't like.
Yes.
Before I found SAS. San Antonio Shoe Company.
Yeah, you do. And Brandon, now what's your favorite place to shop in for clothing?
Right now it's Old Navy.
Oh, that's another good place.
Well, you get the old uniforms from World War II?
Oh, you figured that one out, son of a gun.
No, I like their jeans because they last a long time and they're really comfortable and I go there for the jeans. I still haven't found a great place for shirts, so I'm open to suggestions there.
What kind of shirts are you looking for?
Comfortable ones. I don't want. I forget which material it is, but after a certain number of washes, they'll get those little white balls on them. Don't want that to happen. And I wash my clothes cold all the time, so don't accuse me of that.
Right. No. To me, cold water is the best for any kind of clothing. I don't care what it is.
Right. But that's supposed to only happen if you wash them with hot water. But the clothes that I have, they do that even with cold water. So I need to find some clothes that don't do that,
Well, when you're talking about shirts, like dress shirts, nice fleece plaid shirts, play shirts, give me more of a direction that you're going in.
T-shirts that are comfortable and last a long time.
JCPenney's.
Okay.
Go over to JC's.
All right.
And then they beefed it up. I don't know if it's just because of the holiday or the competition or what, but they really stepped up to the box. They beefed up that whole store. There's more merchandise. It's easier to maneuver in that store. And they're having sales like everybody else. But, yeah, I would recommend JC's. Pop over there. And if you can't find it there, go to Burlington's.
All right.
All right. And matter of fact, we have a Burlington's right around the corner from us and a JC on the other side of the freeway.
I was about to mention the Burlington. I've never been to Burlington before.
Oh, go. I think you'd be very happy.
Take a walk through and give it a little bit of a
Snoop attack.
Snoop attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, and bring Snoopy with you, too.
Yes.
All right.
And you know what I was thinking? We've been talking about food and clothing and this and that. How about things to do for Christmas and New Year's, especially in the Inland Empire? Like going to see the lights at the Mission Inn.
Yes, that's going in. That's on my list, and we're running out of time, but I got to get over there one day, maybe over the weekend or something, and pop over there. Brandon, if you never went to the Mission Inn in Riverside, you should go. You don't have to go, but you should go. The lights and the displays and the music and the smells, it is unbelievable.
Oh, the animatronics and the characters that move. And
Yes.
There's a million lights.
And inside the Mission Inn, they have the doors open that people can walk through.
Yes.
And they have these characters, moving around and this and that. I mean, it is incredible.
And the little local McDonald's is open and the pizza places, and you can get something to munch and eat while you're down there and
And
drink.
Starbucks is open. And they stay open until 10 o'clock.
Folks, there's a Starbucks coffee sitting on the desk to her left side right now. She's never done a show without a Starbucks coffee on the table.
That's right.
All right.
And that's somewhere over north of 400 shows. So that's a
Oh.
lot of Starbucks coffee.
We are so
Do you
past
realize
400.
their stock price and their profits are going up because of you?
Yeah, I know. Yes.
So I was curious about something. Traffic is pretty bad right now.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Traffic's never great around Riverside. So I've been faced with this dilemma, and this is why I haven't seen the Festival of Lights. How do I get to Riverside and avoid traffic, see the Festival of Lights, get back without traffic, and, just to make sure I have a good time. It's a good night.
Oh, I have the answer to that, darling.
You do?
Yes, it's simple. And I tell Richard, I do this quite a bit, right? Go down to the airport. They have a helicopter. You can hop on the helicopter, and they'll drop you off, and there you go.
I have a solution that costs $7 a person unless you're under 18, in
Ooh.
which case it's free.
By the way,
Yeah.
folks, don't try the helicopter. It doesn't exist. What is it, Brandon?
If you take the Metrolink, it is $7 for a round trip, and there might be traffic, but you don't have to deal with it.
You mean from San Bernardino to Riverside?
It's $7 no matter where you're coming from.
Really?
And
Yeah.
how long does
Even L.A.?
I mean, anywhere that connects to the Metrolink, yep.
Really?
If downtown Riverside's your destination,
That
it's
must
$7.
be a special.
It is. It's part of the Metrolink website right now.
Really?
And how long do they run for at nighttime?
You know what? I'm not seeing that.
He'd have to
right
look
now.
that up.
Yeah, well, you can call
Well,
them.
folks, you can go on a Metrolink site. Now, our little secret is if we go down there and get off for the Mission Inn, and we go on the east side of it, and there's a parking lot across the street that if you hit it at the right time, you can find a space around this building. If that's not the case, you got to go a couple of blocks away.
All right, I scrolled down a few more pages, and they stopped giving rides on Friday and Saturday. This is with shuttle. So I don't know when the train actually stops, but the shuttle stops at 10 p.m.
Well, that's pretty late. That's good.
Yeah, that's pretty reasonable. And the shuttle will take you from the Mission Inn to the train station.
Oh, wow.
Whoa. Now that's cool.
So you don't even have to walk very far.
No, you don't have to walk at all.
Well, that's only a 5-minute ride anyway.
Yeah.
It's a little longer walk than I would want to do, especially if I'm going to walk all the way around the Mission Inn.
Yeah, it looks
Because
like
the
it's,
lights are so great, you really need to walk around all sides of it to see everything.
Well, and it looks like it's about probably 10 blocks if you're going to walk to the train station from the
Yeah.
Mission Inn. And after you've been walking, for a few hours seeing all these lights, you probably don't want to walk an extra 10 blocks.
Nope.
10 blocks is nothing. That's a city block in New York. Well, Brandon, thank you. And tomorrow we're going to pop this up on the Facebook and the Twitter and everything else.
You have a point. The blocks in Riverside aren't very big.
No, they're tiny. That's a skip and a hop. And see, in New York, it was a skip and a hop and a jump.
Has anybody got anything else you can do besides the Mission Inn?
Yes, whatever makes you happy. Right? If and this time if you're the one thing that maybe it's just me, okay? And I'm not trying to be nasty about this, but maybe it's just me. You know what bothers me? The
What's
one
that?
biggest thing, you got a whole year. You got 12 months, right? Why does everybody wait until a holiday and they plan all these events, all these gatherings, all of these parties, in this little tiny month? And people are, feel like they're obligated to go to every single one of them or whatever. And I and some of my girlfriends, we were talking about this the other day, and they says, "What are you going to do?" I said, "Nothing." I said, "After the holidays are over with and everything calms down, then I'll have a gathering at the house." And people are more relaxed, they're not rushed. But I don't understand for the life of me, why does everybody shove everything at the same time? And like this, why do people feel like they are totally obligated to bring a gift or a bottle of wine or something? I could never understand this. If you want to go somewhere, go because you would like to. If you want to bring something, do it because you want to. That's just me. I had to say that. And I'd like to know how many else people feel that way.
Probably a decent amount. Probably a lot of people. My family has meetings throughout the year, like you're suggesting, so I'd probably feel that way if we didn't, though.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I can see where you're coming from.
Thank you.
Another thing I thought about, you can jump on the train and go down to Olivera Street in L.A. There's a little fun down there.
Yeah, do that during the day. It's fabulous.
Sure, and during the day.
Go on the weekend and bring the children or the young adults that you have.
Sure. And there are some things that are a little further away to go. And I'm sure everybody has their little favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, I just went blank on a few other things that I like to do. I know where they are.
Oh, that's
but I don't remember the name, so I won't tell you.
That's okay. That's old age creeping in on you.
That's Alzheimer's, yes.
Yes,
That's right.
And then the other thing, too, that we have a few minutes left here, so I'd like to Brandon, we have what, 4 or 5?
We got 4 minutes left.
4. Okay. I would like to make a couple of announcements before we leave. Brandon, this goes out to you. We had a whole year together, over a whole year now. You being my board up, I want to thank you for all the fun, all the giggles, all the mess ups and how we covered each other, and this and that. And I want to thank you for all of that.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome, and happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Thank you. Rich, same thing goes to you.
Really?
Yes. And then all of our family here at KCAA and all the funny little things that we did and said, and it was nice. And also, I would like to thank all of our listeners. You know who you all are, and I know pretty much who you all are. And every day it seems like the numbers are getting higher. I want to thank you for tuning in to this show and calling in and dropping me little hints through emails and everything else about this, that, and the other thing. I want to thank you for all of that. And I think we had a really fun year. I really do. I'm saying this now before it gets all clogged up at the end of it. And next year, the second or third week of January, I'm going to give you a heads up. Guys, be ready, because we have some huge surprises.
She's going in some crazy directions.
That is going to be out and about. And again, I want to thank everybody, and I hope everybody has a good holiday.
And also, again, we got to say to Fred, thank you for starting this station. We hope you have a good holiday there in Texas, and I hope the weather's good, and we really appreciate it.
Yes. Yeah, if it wasn't for him, none of us would be here as far as we know, right?
That's absolutely true.
Yes. And Brandon, what is your favorite Christmas tune? You were talking about it. How about when we say adios, that can play us out of the station?
Sure.
Okay. And again, thanks, guys. Be safe, be happy. We'll talk to you next week, same time, same station.
each child still knows this night we pray our lives will show this dream he had. Each child still knows this night we pray our lives will show this dream he had. Not forgotten. We pray our lives
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM.
I'm Tom Busby, CNBC. Delta Airlines today dealing a big blow to Boeing. Delta ordered 100 new passenger jets, nearly $12 billion worth of new aircraft, but it was from European plane maker Airbus, not Boeing. Despite that, Boeing shares ended at a new all-time high, but not much else did. The Dow down 76, the Nasdaq down 19. Now, stocks lost some early gains on worries that GOP tax cut bill, which will be unveiled tomorrow, may not pass unless more tax credits are put back in. Disney spending more than $52 billion for Fox's movie studio, massive film library, and the FX and National Geographic cable TV channels as it beefs up its content before launching several planned streaming video services. First-time jobless claims down sharply last week, down by 11,000. And a disturbing new study found that more than 4 in 10 working women say they've been discriminated against at work because of their gender. Tom Busby, CNBC.
Attention all authors. Page Publishing is looking for authors. Have you written a book and want to get it published? Page Publishing will get your book into bookstores and for sale online at Amazon, Apple iTunes, and other outlets. They handle all aspects of the publishing process for you. Printing, cover art, publicity, copyright, and editing. Call 800-501-3689 now for your free author submission kit. That's 800-501-3689 for your free author submission kit. Again, 800-501-3689.
Attention small business owners, you know how hard it is to get funding to grow your business. Next Wave Funding is a direct funder that can help you get the cash you need when you need it, even if your credit is not that great. If you've been in business for over 1 year, have at least $12,000 in sales every month, Next Wave will purchase your future earnings and give you the money you need. It's as simple as that. This is by far the easiest and best funding for existing businesses. Call 800-430-4566. That's 800-430-4566.
Riverside County firefighters made quick work of a potentially dangerous blaze on the outskirts of Banning Wednesday. The 20-acre fire was contained less than 3 hours after it was reported near Shirley Drive and the old Banning Idlewild Road. There are still no new regulations on short-term vacation rentals in San Diego. Randy Fuller has the story.
The City Council came up short again yesterday on regulating homes used as Airbnb and home-away locations. Council members failed last year to ban short-term rentals in residential neighborhoods. Certain restrictions are getting support, like a 3-night minimum stay and homeowners paying for permits and room taxes. However, the 10-hour marathon meeting produced no comprehensive agreement on the issue. Randy Fuller, NBC News Radio.
A Southern California man gets the death sentence for torturing his son to death. Charlie Mollick has more.
A Palmdale man who tortured and murdered his girlfriend's 8-year-old son is going to death row. A Los Angeles jury recommended that Izara Aguirre be put to death for the 2013 killing of Gabriel Fernandez. The boy's mother is awaiting trial for her part in the boy's death and also faces the possibility of the death penalty. The victim was repeatedly shot with a BB gun, beaten, and forced to sleep in a small cabinet with his hands and feet bound and his mouth gagged. Now, back to you, Blake.
Your forecast for today, 77 degrees in Redlands, cooling off to 49 degrees by tonight. With the Inland News Update, I'm Blake Trolley.
From the KCAA Weather Center, I'm Kenneth Casey. For this afternoon, now until Friday, a red flag warning is in effect. Otherwise, expect sunshine for this afternoon with highs in the upper 70s. Tonight, mostly clear skies are expected with a low of 51, and into your Friday, sunny skies with a high of 78. I'm Kenneth Casey, broadcasting live from the Tri-City Center at the 10 and 210 freeways. We are the trifecta of talk in Southern California, KCAA 102.3 FM Riverside, 106.5 FM Redlands, and the Legacy, 1050 AM Loma Linda, San Bernardino.
This is Gary Garver. If you're a coffee drinker like I am and enjoy special brews that have a unique taste, I have the perfect premium selection for you, Volcanic Red Coffee. Volcanic Red Coffee receives its great green coffee beans from all over the world. Volcanic Red drum roasts their beans by hand for the optimal roast experience. They then put their whole or grinded coffee beans in pods and packages and ship them out to you the same day you place your order. Volcanic Red Coffee takes great pride in making sure your coffee is as fresh as if you picked the coffee beans yourself. Right now, Volcanic Red Coffee is offering a 50% discount on all coffee products. Go to www.volcanicredcoffee.com. That's www.volcanicredcoffee.com and type in the promo code GARY50 to receive a 50% discount. That's promo code GARY50. That's a 50% discount off of 2 or more bags or pods. Volcanic Red Coffee for all your premium coffee needs.
Locals in Loma Linda and Redlands all know and love the Family Homestyle Cafe, the home of the world's largest pancakes and the delicious mouth-watering food cooked up daily by their well-trained chefs. Sizzling thick-cut bacon, ham, and hand-pressed sausage. They take pride in the best quality, great economical values, with better portions served up with the pride of local ownership and great service. Near the corner of Anderson and Redlands Boulevard in Loma Linda, if you haven't tried out Chef Mark's Delights, you haven't had some of the best food in the area. And now, Chef Mark is upgrading his cafe and offering space for on-site gatherings, luncheons, and parties. Add a DJ for a great holiday party or luncheon, and you've got a no-fuss event with all the bells and whistles. Call Mark today at 909-478-9996. That's 909-478-9996. Or stop by the Homestyle Cafe in Loma Linda at Anderson and Redlands Boulevard. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the greatest real estate investment show ever. Here's the flip-flop investor himself, Todd Bayer.
Hey everyone, this is the Flip-Flop Investor Show, and I am your host, Todd Bayer, the Flip-Flop Investor himself. Every week we get together and talk about real estate investing here in the Inland Empire. We usually get together with a local expert. Sometimes we get together with a local newbie and talk about real estate investing, who they are, what they do, and hopefully that inspires you in some way to invest in real estate, or maybe get yourself out of the stock market and get yourself into the real estate market or something. That's just what we hope to do. Today in the studio we have a very special guest. He's actually, it's the 4th time he's been on the show, and yeah, we're happy to have him. He was our first ever guest on the show, and now he's back again to tell us all his new trade secrets that he's been hiding out all these last few months. So please welcome Jim Keller. How you doing, Jim?
Hey, I am great, man. It's nice to be here. Very exciting, actually. This office is fantastic. I absolutely love the new studio. It's awesome.
Yeah, we call it the studio, but it's also my office. But yeah, I love it. Thank you.
Yeah,
I've spent a lot of time and money on this place.
Things must be going well.
Things are going well for us. Yeah, we're doing really, really well. We're as busy as we've ever been at this moment. So, sometimes taking the little break out here during the day to do the show is sometimes like, I got so much stuff to do.
I can imagine. I know I'm really looking forward to the Christmas party. It's going to be really fun.
Oh, you're talking about the Inland Empire Real Estate Investment Club Christmas party.
Yeah,
it's going to be tomorrow night.
Oh man, I can't wait. It's going to be so fun. What do all the door prizes?
Yeah, door prizes. We got an open bar. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. We're going to find out.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to get my money's worth. For $50, I get to eat all the food I want and booze.
Well, $50 if you prepaid. Because for all the people that RSVP, I'd say today's the deadline, because
only smart people listen to this show. I can tell you right now, anyone listening is going to prepay. I guarantee you.
Last year we thought the same thing, but like 60% of the people that came didn't prepay. They
Really?
paid at the door and paid the
It's
extra
all the new
$10.
blood, man, that you guys attract because of the cool event. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be cool.
It's going to be a blast. It's going to be a pajama party, but
A pajama party.
but not mandatory. You don't have to wear pajamas, but there's a rumor that there may be a pajama contest.
I'm sorry. It's really hard for me to keep a straight face. We're going to go to a pajama party.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
It's going to be a grown-up
It's gonna be a
pajama
good time.
party, real estate investor networking event. It's just a lot of fun. We just mostly focus on networking, but also we talk about the Flippy Award, which is the flip of the year. So all the contestants, all the people that are trying out to win the Flippy Award for 2017 are going to be presenting their best flip that they did all year. So
Well, I gave my best last year and was beat out by
Drew and
Drew. Yes, exactly. Which they were very deserving. But I told my wife, I go, if you want to win this award, I think she ought to put her best foot forward on it. So
Okay,
I think
so-
she's at home right now trying to figure out which one she's going to put on the list.
Well, it's a little late because the deadline was Monday. So.
Oh man, are you kidding me?
Yeah, but who knows?
Well,
maybe if there's I don't know if the judges are taking bribes, but I wouldn't put it past them.
Listen, if they're taking bribes, I want that book list. Okay,
Oh, there you
I'm
go.
putting my name on that one right away.
So the book list, yeah, that's going to be one of the door prizes. It's going to be
Yeah.
the list of all the books that we recommend people read. We're going to give away this one big stack. So you're going to get all of the books.
So instant real estate investor library. Is that what I'm
Pretty
hearing?
much. And these are the books that, myself, Steven, some of
Yeah.
the other club members have all gone through. And we've said these are hands down, these are the best books if you want to become
Yeah.
a real estate investor. Things like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Building Wealth One House at a Time by John Schaub, books
Yeah.
like that. So if you're interested, come to the party tomorrow night. It's going to be at the Citrus State Historic Park in Riverside.
Isn't that off of La Sierra and Lincoln, I think it is?
Nope, you're completely the other side of town. It's on Van Buren and Dufferin.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so it's
There you
kind
go.
of in between
Yeah,
Orange
I know where
Crest
it's
and
at. I
Riverside,
know where it's at.
91.
Awesome. Good news. Funny thing is you're talking about the books, okay?
Yeah.
I told a friend of mine earlier today, I was at breakfast, and I said, oh yeah, I got a radio show appearance. It's going to be fun. I've done it a couple times before. And he kind of looked at me a little strangely, like, dude, we're doing a deal here and you're leaving, to do a radio show? What are you thinking about?
Well, when NBC makes the call, you don't say no.
Well, there you go. That's exactly right. That's that is funny because that's exactly what I said. I go, well, it's just NBC. I
Yeah.
kind of laughed. But I told him, I said, no, it's the education. The education is what's cool about what I really like. That's what you guys offer.
Yeah.
And I go to other club meetings. And I'm not by all means down talking any of the other clubs out there. They all kind of have their own little niche. But the level of education that I personally have gotten from, the council from you, the council from Steve, a lot of the other members, it just kind of makes my job a lot easier for some real heady stuff. Like, how do you syndicate? What if I want to start offering people, if I want to start getting loans or giving them trust deeds so I can purchase even more properties? The kind of insight you've given me is helpful. And I know in the past when I first started working here, or when I started working on deals, getting the right information was difficult because just because somebody who you think's an expert in the field is doing it one way, it by no means means it's the right way.
Yeah, or the only way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that education aspect of what you guys have to offer, it excites the heck out of me. It's what keeps me coming back, and I feel good about what I'm doing because I was so in the dark for so many years.
Yeah.
And even now, I mean, I was when you asked me to come and talk today, I was kind of like, hey, what are we going to talk about? And I've gone through some pretty crazy things in the last few months. Just the business is difficult. It's really, really difficult. I'm an expert at acquisitions.
Yeah.
I'm really good with the contracts. I'm really good with escrow. I'm really good with my investor relations.
Yep.
Those kind of things are really in my wheelhouse. I have a tremendous amount of construction experience and controlling the funds that kind of move in and out of my company. But I count on a lot of people to do things properly. And that was something that happened to us, and that's what I'm really hoping to kind of offer you guys today is is just because you have something set up into place, it doesn't mean everything's going to go perfectly.
Yeah.
And I got caught kind of flat-footed, to be honest with you. I think we finally figured out that my problem that I had with one of my contractors and some of the other staff I had, it's going to end up kind of spanking me for $10,000-$20,000, to be honest with you, and it hurts.
Yeah.
But fortunately, we purchased the properties properly. We had a good plan on how to get out of them, and I've got one property in particular in the Wood Streets we're gonna get some red ink, unfortunately, on that one deal. But at least we're gonna get out of the situation we're in. And the best part is I brought in a great contractor and a great manager. I know you know who I'm talking about.
I do.
And I'm actually better. So I'm actually better today, way better today than I was 2 months ago. And if all that cost me was $18,000, I'm way ahead of the game, and it feels
education.
good.
Cheap education.
Yeah, exactly. Cheap education.
But that's why they call it the Flip Flop Investor Show, because we talk about the flips, we talk about the flops. You know, so those flops are the ones you end up learning more on than you do on the flips sometimes, because the flips, you're just a genius, and you had this all planned out and it worked out exactly as you thought it would. But on the flop, you're like, okay, what went wrong? And you got to go back and sort of figure out where was the breakdown here. And oftentimes it's in communication with your team. I know for us, we had a lot more issues before we started implementing Slack. Slack is an app that we use for communication between all the parties involved in a deal. So if we have, 1, 2, 3 Main Streets of flip, we have the contractor on there, we have the realtor on there, we have myself, Steven, our admin, and Tyler, and also our in-house acquisitions guy. Everybody's on the same channel, so we can all talk about that deal. So if, for example, a house gets broken into, we can have people there.
Everyone knows.
Yeah, everybody knows about it right at the same time, and everybody knows what they need to do at that point.
Well, it's no secret from your counsel. I mean, that's essentially what we went to. We went to the Slack app, and first of all, I love it. It's very expensive. It's free. Okay, you have to run it on your phone.
Sure.
I mean, okay, and it's just fantastic because having everything in your pocket, everything on your phone. And so it can be a Sunday evening, and I can be at my mother-in-law's house, and if there's a problem on the house, I know about it, and I didn't say I had to respond.
Right.
But I know the chatter that's going back and forth. I know what contractors are out that day. If there's a big hubbub going on at one of the projects, and let's say I was scheduled to have an investor there, I can take them to another property. I love it, and I can't believe I spent the first couple of years, flipping at, I think, a pretty high level without it. It kind of freaks me out.
Yeah, because you think about all the phone calls you have to make. Let's assume you're the one that got privy to the information first. The house was broken into. Now you have to call everybody in sequence. you know, and the amount of time you save on just putting it on the channel once, and everybody sees it, and everybody knows what to do at that point. And you can assign a task to somebody straight to it. Right there, you can say, hey, John, I need you to go to the house and fill out a police report. Whatever. That's the next step.
Well, I think that's what I like probably about it the most is I can be intense about a problem, and I mean I can actually cause myself more trouble because of the intensity and and it's just sort of, it's my nature. It's I've always been sort of a dysfunctional guy, so overreacting is kind of what I do really well. Okay. So the Slack has enabled me to kind of take a more of a 40,000 feet in the air sort of view of my business.
Right.
And because of it, it's brought a new level of confidence. And like, for instance, I spent all day yesterday working on the acquisition for 3 new properties. And these are all 3 of these properties are outside of what I would say my typical deals. I would say 80% of my transactions are within 20 miles of my house, which I live in Riverside.
Yeah.
So I have these new contracts are in a great city that I know you love doing deals in, Pacific Palisades.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So I've got a Pacific Palisades, and unfortunately, it's at the very top edge. You know, it's way above the Getty Museum up there.
Okay.
So I've got that one, which I got to tell you, before I had Slack and before I had the control that I would have, I probably would have passed on it because it's just too far away and it's too much going on there. But with the new system, because of my problems that I've had to enact this new system, I have a lot more confidence when it comes to stuff like that. So I've got Pacific Palisades, Costa Mesa, and Anaheim. The Anaheim project is we do a lot of business in Anaheim, so that's really not much of a stretch for me. But it's still nice. The system allows me to take on more responsibility and to expand my footprint in the area, which only means, you know, a better, you know, bottom line for us. And, you know, I'm sure it'll be more, there'll be challenges, but at least I know I have the ongoing, you know, day-to-day operations of them handled well. And I got to say thank you, man. I got to say thank you, because I got to tell you, I don't know where I'd be today if I didn't come to you guys and say, hey, what do you think here? And, you know, a lot of it was done through your construction manager, which you graciously helped me out with.
Well, you originally hooked us up with the guy.
I know. I think that's
funny.
actually it's actually a good story. You know, didn't he do your kitchen for you?
Yeah,
I think that's the way it happened. Yeah.
Personal kitchen, yeah. But yeah, he did my personal kitchen. Then he did a couple flips for us as well. You know, and then he wanted to take on a different role. He didn't want to be a contractor anymore. What he wanted to do was be a project manager, where he would oversee multiple contractors. And, you know, he just didn't want to be the contractor anymore, where he had to be on site, you know, directing people.
I think he's making more money doing it this way. I think he's making more money. I think he's happier. And so that's another nice thing we could talk about.
Yeah.
Because I really like the idea of this resource that we have and this capital. It's human capital. Okay. So we have certain people that I know you guys do. You guys are it for me. I like to be able to come to you guys and say, hey, I was thinking of doing it this way, and just hearing, yeah, Jim, you're on the right path, it frees me. It frees me. It allows me to go somewhere else. And
we give you permission to do stuff.
Well, yeah, I guess that is it. But it's for me. I'm sort of, or not sort of, I'm the manic depressant. I'm the manic guy. I'm like, I got a million things going on in my head. And for me to be able to come back and kind of validate the real good ideas, or the outside the box thinking, or the real touchdowns, for me to be able to validate that and move on quickly and go to the next touchdown is really what you guys, what that leveraging human capital really kind of means to me. And when I see what's happened to our manager, okay, man, I'm just so it really kind of validates that whole concept for me, because he was unable, and I think he would admit this, he was unable to kind of manage 7 or 8 jobs on his own.
Right.
Okay. When he was the one making sure the nails were, when he was the one pounding the nails and putting the drywall on the walls. But I think he can, I think he can run 30 or 40 jobs the way he's doing it right now. I think it's going to happen.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And you get into a contractor, and most of them can most of them can run a job.
Yeah.
A single job is not beyond any contractor's, abilities for the most part, unless you get the wrong contractor.
Yeah.
But, some of them are pretty good. They can get up to 3-4 projects going at a time. But, once you get up to like 7 to 10, I mean, if they don't have a solid system in place of their own, they should probably have a system like Slack built into their business too, where, there's constant communication across all properties. It's just something that, it's like that next level, like when you start out your first flip, you're probably at the property yourself, tearing out some stuff.
Remember those first few projects we did together?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was there.
Yeah, you were there quite a bit.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if you ever put on any bags or brought your tools with you.
I would, but the guys actually doing the work would laugh in my face. And I'm, I got a little bit of pride.
You're not one for humiliation.
Exactly.
So, yeah, but I mean, I know on my first project, I'd, actually gotten involved and I bought tools, which I still own, which are still very nice and very
They're
good
beautiful.
condition.
They're not scratched.
Exactly, not a
They're
scratch
perfect
on them.
condition.
Yeah, exactly. I could sell them for the price I paid for.
Exactly.
But yeah, it was funny because I tried to use them the other day and the batteries don't work because if you don't use them, the batteries don't charge anymore. They're just dead. So I got to buy new batteries. And but anyway, yeah, I was at the property myself, doing the work and trying to learn as much as I could because I didn't know anything about construction on my first flip. So having the contractors there, and I offered to help each one of them, which probably slowed them all down, really.
Yeah, you think you're like, hey, I'm in it with you, man. I'm ready to go. I want to help out.
Yeah.
And inside they're going, would you get the heck off of my job?
Yeah. I'm like, I'll help you carry the tiles in. I'll help you do all that stuff that, you
Problem is you don't stack it just right because they want to offset each box so they can lift it into another.
Yeah. Oh, I made sure those boxes were stacked in a perfect column.
Yeah, exactly.
And I got yelled at for it because
they wanted an offset.
Exactly.
So now you've got all of this experience, and now you realize, wow, there is a rhyme or reason to all of this stuff, and I think that's really what the whole education. I mean, not that I'm trying to throw a class at you here or anything, but the idea is that I love that the guys that do this right, the guys that do this at a really high level, have amazing systems, and those systems are what leverage them into operating 10 and 15 and 20 and 40 houses at a time.
Yeah.
And I always I had an idea that was the case. I knew that that's where it was. But I mean, I've got this big thing. I want to do 50 deals in 2018.
Okay.
Okay? So I've got to buy about 5 houses, 5 houses a month. That way if I only do 3 one month, I'll still be able to make my goal.
Sure.
Okay? I don't believe I'm going to have a problem with the acquisitions of it because I control the acquisitions in our company. I'm not like you guys yet. I don't have an acquisitions manager.
Yeah.
Maybe one day I will. But I know my capabilities. I know I'm able to do that. I know I can manage those deals. But for me, it's I got the deal out in Pacific Palisades. My first phone call, which in the past probably wouldn't have been this phone call, but I called the construction manager, and said, hey, do we have the capabilities to do this? And by the way, you do have the authority to red light this entire project.
Yeah.
So if you don't think we can pull this off, if you don't think we're capable, our systems aren't strong enough to support a project 100 miles or 80 miles from our home base, let me know now, and I'll sell the project to somebody else or whatever.
Yeah. And by the way, I do have a great contractor out there. That I'm sure Mike will love to work with.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and not the guy that we used.
I was just going to say, I've met a couple contractors out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, no, this guy's great. He works with a guy that builds a lot in that area. So,
wonderful.
Yeah, I'll after the show, I'll give you his info. So you can
I
call
knew there
him
was
up.
a reason I was here.
Yeah, there was. That was the reason.
Was it. Yeah.
Let's kind of flash back a little bit because I don't know if we've talked about really how you got into real estate in the first place.
All right. Well, so a funny story is, so I had, unfortunately she's passed, I had an Aunt May. And Aunt May was a lovely lady. Aunt May, I remember one time, I remember one time her saying, why would you ever want to get into real estate? Because when I was 16 and 17 years old, I wanted to be in real estate. And
it's an odd choice as a high schooler.
Well, my mom and dad owned a lot of rental property when I was growing up.
Okay.
And my dad had a construction company, and I grew up, putting roofs on houses and being the hod tender for plasterers and cleaning up job sites. And I grew up doing that as a kid. Unfortunately, that would have been like the late 70s, and that was 22% interest rates.
Sure.
And my dad's company unfortunately failed. And the funny part about it is, we were talking about our kids before we got on the show here earlier, and I just love my dad. My dad's he's a real hero of mine. He's a great guy. Okay, my mom and dad, but I'm talking about my dad specifically now, and. My dad was kind of a fast and loose kind of a guy, okay? And I don't think he really got the whole, like the 40,000 foot in the air kind of view of what was going on. And he did really well construction wise, and he got into a real estate office. And this real estate agent was a top notch real estate agent, and it was actually a broker. And this was a time when if you didn't want your house, you just go over to the real estate office, and he'd say, well, I'd be happy to do a wraparound or a subject to offer, and he'd give the people $2,000, and they'd sign the deed over to these people, and the broker going back into the office, and they'd literally have an auction in the site. And so my mom and dad purchased a lot of homes this way. Right. It was kind of neat. Well, the reason I'm telling you the story here is he didn't have a good system set up. And he got very ill one time, and ended up going to the hospital for actually a couple of months, and the whole business sort of like collapsed around him. And so everyone in our family was like, "Why would you want to go into real estate after seeing like what your parents had gone through?"
Yeah.
But all I remember is the good things. I remember the Lakers season tickets and the Kings season tickets, and we were always flying somewhere to do something. We had a beautiful motorhome. We toured the country. Wow. And my mom and dad, we would go away for 4 weeks in the summertime. We'd get in the motorhome and drive to Florida, and where most people would go to Disneyland. No, we wouldn't. We would go on some dirt road to the Florida Everglade and see crocodile, or is it alligators? I think it's alligators there, but
I don't know.
You get the point. But I do remember going to a place one time, and the guy said, "Throw a shoe under your motorhome in the morning because the alligators like the warmth of the metal vehicle.
Okay.
And they will go underneath your car, or underneath your motorhome, and in the morning when you walk out, you become alligator food."
Okay.
So I remember opening up the door, and we literally took a shoe and threw it underneath there to seeing if we would stir anything around.
Yeah.
So that was my childhood and the freedom that I got from that. So my mom and dad knew somebody who was on a swamp, and literally we got on their 50-foot boat, and they caught a bunch of shrimp because they were shrimpers, and we were throwing shrimp out in the water. So what does this have to do with why I got into real estate?
Well, I can see it.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's the freedom. I love it. It's my time. Today I was telling you my wife wants a new table.
Yep.
Okay? Well, I got to be home at 1:30 because we're going shopping for a table.
Right.
And I love, and don't get me wrong, I work my tail off, and I know you do too, but the freedom of being able to do that, and to do it on my time, it's worth the headache and the hassle.
Yeah.
And I was kind of joking. I know the TV is only for YouTube, but I put my hands up here on my forehead, and when I get a little stressed out, and it's actually, I think I brought it on myself. My hairline just keeps getting taller and taller and taller from rubbing. So I know it's hard work and all, but the freedom is really what kind of drives me. And it's the why. It's the why I do this. So I saw this with my parents. I saw them go through a heartache. And what I did is I started just dreaming of doing these deals. I really did. I wrote out more paper than you could ever imagine. But I did something that I hope everyone hears me say. I didn't do anything about it. I just dreamed. I just dreamed and dreamed and dreamed. And I don't know. I was probably 34 years old, something like that. And I'd kind of failed at a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
I just never, my passion was real estate.
Yeah.
But I did a lot of a lot of sales, and I did construction. I did a lot of things like that.
Yeah, I know you sold windows.
And what's cool about that is I learned a lot about like products, and I learned a lot. I learned how to understand building plans and permits and things like that, which has come in handy now. But I went, I kind of disappointed my wife one more time, and finally I said, I'm going to go work at Track Homes, and I'd already been doing loans. And I was really a mediocre lender. I don't work well with others. I honestly, I don't. I mean, I've figured that out with myself, that I'm a kind of a independent guy, and I'm selfish, and I want what I want when I want it.
Yeah.
And I wasn't a good service provider for loans. So I started doing new home sales. And I got a job with a guy, his name is Louis Norwood, and he owns a company called Temps for tracks.
Okay.
And I was a temp worker, and I remember making $11 an hour.
Hey, that's not bad.
God, it was $11 an hour, and I was like, honey, we can do it. I know we can do it. So I worked with them for about a month, and then I got on with Forecast Homes. I did very well with them, and then they wanted me to deliver homes that weren't finished. So that means closing escrow on homes that weren't finished. Okay, this was when I worked for the company of the gentleman you met at the airport.
Okay,
a couple days ago. Okay.
Yeah.
So I had 43 closings at quarter end. So when you work for a big developer, everything is quarter end, and all the bonuses are derived from quarter end closings.
Okay.
So we only delivered 19 closings out of 43 because the houses weren't done.
Yeah.
Well, somebody's head had to roll. It was mine.
Ah.
So I was gone from that. I went to another company, and I ended up staying there for almost 10 years. I really learned the business. It's really where, when I like to tell people, you know, I have 700 closings. A majority of those closings came with this company. There were years where we closed 100 homes, and I guess it's important for me to get that out to people that the way you go, and like yesterday I said, hey, we've negotiated 3 sales. The way we do that is I have mini Fridays where we close 12 homes in one day.
Yeah.
I've done that multiple times, and a lot of people don't understand that. I know you get it a lot of times. These people think they're going to be a real estate expert,
Sure.
You know, after their 3rd transaction, and we still screw up all the time, even though we have all these deals underneath us. But I did that for a while, and then that business died in the financial crisis
Well, right.
of 06 and 07. I started doing resale business, and it's a great, you know, I like resale a lot. I wasn't really all that great at it in the beginning. My wife and I kind of did it together. We had some success. I purchased my first flip home in 2009, and I only did a couple of deals after that, and then finally I said, hey, I can't do this. I can't not do this business anymore, because I'd missed, because of this dreaming I was talking about.
Right.
So I missed the big buildup in the 80s.
Sure.
Okay, I missed that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Basically 87.
dreaming it away.
Yeah.
Okay. And then everything came to an end in 1990 because all the bases closed.
Yep.
And then there was a big buildup after that.
Right.
I missed that. Okay. Then I missed the big build because I was selling real estate. I was, you know, that's. I hope all the realtors that are listening hear me say this. I was selling all of the stuff to other people and watching them make $70, $80, $90, $100,000 a deal on stuff that I was so excited because I double end. I double ended a $208,000 transaction. I made $12,000, $400. Boy, I was so proud of myself. And then 4 months later, I see it back on the market for $160,000 more than I sold them the property for. That happened to me a few times, and I realized I'm doing this the wrong way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it was probably you I sold the damn house to.
It might have. I don't know.
Exactly.
Might have been. Who knows?
So from there, I did my. When I say like my modern flipping business that I have really started in Moreno Valley, and although I don't really remember all the numbers, I do remember getting a check for $27,000.
Okay.
And I said to myself, wow, if I can make $27,000 on one deal, I can do 5 of them. And if I can do 5, I can do more.
Yeah.
So we've got 17 in inventory right now, and a couple of those are like new build up, ground up homes that we're building.
Sure.
My happiest. I'm like a boat owner. You know anyone that ever bought a big yacht? The day I buy it, I'm so excited, and the day I sell it, everything else in between sucks. It's just one more mouth I got to feed. It's one more problem. Yesterday, I got a phone call from the San Bernardino Police Department.
Oh, yeah?
Lovely people.
Oh,
okay?
yeah?
This is a really good story. I got to tell you this.
Okay, we got to hear this one.
Okay. So, I'm at the house working away, and the police, the contractor calls, the manager calls and says, hey, the police, there's a squatter that's trying to get in, that says they have a lease agreement for the San Bernardino property.
Okay.
So the short story is 5 weeks ago, the same thing happened, but it was a little uglier because there were guns pulled, and it was kind of frightening. Okay, the police came out. We were able to get rid of the people that were there, and everything's fine. So we disabled the electrical box. We took out the meter with the water meter. We put plugs in the gas meter, so no one could turn anything on and get any kind of occupancy in the property.
Yeah.
So we went through quite a bit of things, and yes, that was a nice trick that maybe anyone listening can hear. That this is, you have to do this. You have to protect your asset.
Of course.
Okay. So, and we also boarded up everything. We did it properly with 2x4s on the insides of all threads. We really spent a lot of money making sure the place is secure because we don't want a code violation. That's really what we're after. So anyway,
plus, I don't know if you know this, but City of San Bernardino, we get it all the time when we do a deal in the city of San Bernardino. They'll send out a notice if they think that you're renting the property out, and you have to register the property as a rental there.
I didn't know that, but thank God we weren't renting. Okay.
Yeah.
So my guys are out there working yesterday, and sure enough, the woman comes in and she freaks out, and they left the keys in the front door lock. And of course, what did she do when she walked right up? She grabbed the keys.
Yeah.
Okay, so now she's got custody of our keys, and she's making a big scene. So I told the guys to call the police. The police came out. I'm on the phone with them. And basically, she made a mistake by telling the police, oh, I've been here since May.
Huh.
Well, they were just out there 4 weeks ago with a whole nother group. So, clearly she was... And to the credit of the San Bernardino Police Department, they were actually very nice. And I was a little over the top, trying to prove my point with them. But they got out of the property, and we got custody back of the property. But things like this are stuff that comes up every day in our business. And really, being able to quickly and efficiently handle things like that are I don't want to say are a new thing for me, but I'm trying to do it without increasing my blood pressure. I'm trying to do it, and the reality is even if I didn't get her out, there's another way to get her out.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't work, there's another way to get her out.
Sure.
And it's our asset. We need to protect it. And again, my happiest days are when we close and when we close.
Yeah, exactly.
The checks are fun, but that doesn't even excite me anymore. I think that's the funny part about our business.
Yeah, you make $100,000 on a deal, right? And you're like, oh my God, we made $100,000. But yeah, the excitement wears off. After a little while, you're like, yeah, great. Let's move on to the next.
Have you ever been listening to a radio show and hear somebody say, well, it's really not about the money, and you just sort of roll your eyes?
Yeah.
Well, I'm telling you, it's not about the money, man.
know.
It's not. I'm really enjoying. It's the freedom. I got some good freedom. I get to hang out with fun people. I think, So your question was, how did you get into real estate? I have a long story that of many different positions. Of many different negotiating classes, many different. Getting my tail handed to me multiple times. And in the end, I just came out as a really well-rounded, I think, businessman that's able to make decisions on the fly and live with those decisions. And that's really what kind of brought me to a place where maybe we'll sell $30 million worth of houses. Maybe we'll do $70 million worth of houses, and this was a dream. Here's the funny thing is when I was selling real estate, I dreamed of selling $70 million worth of real estate, right? Mm-hmm. And what a bad guy I was, okay? I corrected myself there. Because at $70 million, the average percentage is about 2.5%, okay? Yeah. How much of a staff would I need to close $70 million of real estate as a real estate agent, okay? I bet you, if I was lucky, I know what the national average is, and people would be surprised. Agents that sell over $20 million of real estate only retain 20% of their commission. That's the national average.
That sounds about right.
Okay? So I don't, and when it comes to organization, I'm organizationally challenged. I don't think I would be making that much, but let's just say I was. It's not enough for the aggravation. And I think that's the real game changer for me, and I love talking to agents. Now, they all think that I'm wrong. That's the best part of it, but I don't know what I'm talking about. But the reality is that let's say you're fantastic at the process of putting together a business, even if you could retain 25% of your income,
yeah,
it's not enough. 25% of 2.5%, it's not enough. Or
Yeah.
2.25%, it's not enough to be on call 24/7, to take financial responsibility for
all of it.
If you're selling $70 million, you've got ancillary services going out to $5 or $8 million in construction, escrow, title, inspection fees, termites, all of this stuff. The responsibility. So if someone doesn't get paid, so for instance, I have a 5-figure, is it 5 figures? I have a 5-figure lumber bill that Kcaa Lumber came calling to me for.
Yeah.
This is a bill I know I already paid, but I screwed up and I didn't get my final unconditional lien release.
Okay, your unconditional release of final payment.
Yeah. Okay, because I'm smart, because I'm a baller, because I am the most reckless guy in the world.
Yeah.
With my own money. With your money, Todd. With your money, no, I'll kill people for your money. Your money, I wouldn't kill anybody, but you know what I'm saying.
I hear
with
you.
your money, I am a really good guy to have, mind you. But with my money, I wasn't as good as I should have been with it, and so now, consequently, because of that, okay, everybody that works with me has to provide me a unconditional final release, or they don't get paid.
Yeah,
and it's simple.
Sure. And when you deal with the big companies like Kcaa, they're doing all the proper steps ahead of time, because if you don't pay them, they will be able to file the lien properly to get a mechanic's lien on against the property.
Absolutely.
They're doing it all right. There's a lot of like little small time contractors out there that don't do it right. So, it's kind of like, I already know most of them aren't prepared enough to file a lien to begin with. Not that we don't pay our guys, but, in the event that one of them had a problem with it, I already know they can't file their lien. So, we stopped using the waivers for the most part. But when you get to like some of the bigger stuff, the bigger contracts, you got to use.
Well, I think the two of us have that same kind of thing. I can't require guys working out of their trucks to do these kind of things, but it's still, this whole situation is the situation I'm talking about with me kind of playing fast and loose with everything has really kind of put a real sharp edge on my own practices, on what I do and how I do it, why I do things, and I guess I'm saying all of this as I was telling you that I love talking to agents, telling them, hey, there's something different. I didn't say better. I said something different out there, another way for you to make money.
Another way to do real estate.
My gosh.
Yeah.
That's it. And that's the, I don't know why when I'm talking to some of these people, some of them do sit down and just listen to what I have to say, but I don't know why everyone wouldn't, I don't know why there's not 55 people out of the door right now beating on the door.
Yeah.
How can I get this? How can I get this? Because this has truly been, life changing for my wife and I. You know us fairly well.
Yeah.
I mean, we're real simple people. I mean, I'm a simple guy. I don't.
You just like having one Rolls Royce in the driveway.
I just like having one Rolls Royce. Exactly.
It's one private jet.
To be real clear, I only know like a marketing guy who flies around in jets. Here,
Yeah.
Okay. I don't actually do that myself. Okay. So. So I'm not a rap star. Okay.
Yeah.
I hang out with guys that hang out with rap stars.
Yeah.
But the point is, is I got a simple life. I like my life to be simple. I like I want to be able to put my head on my pillow at 10:30 and be asleep by 10:45 and be able to wake up and go on and go with my day. And simplicity, is it possible that I'm talking about like $30 million business and simplicity? A lot of people have a real problem with that.
I think a lot of people in the United States, we have this mentality of if you want it done right, you got to do it yourself. We have and the solopreneur kind of mentality. Solopreneur, where you want to run your business completely on your own because you want all that money that's coming into the business to be for you.
I think that's a millennial term. That people just like using the term solopreneur.
Solopreneur, hey, but it's a good word because I started out as a solopreneur. I thought I could do it all on my own.
I guess I'm there too. I guess.
Because when you hear about the real estate agent you just talked about that only made they're making 20% of their commissions. So basically, of all that money that came in, they're only keeping 20% of it. You think, God, that sounds like a horrible existence. But they're probably not as actively doing stuff. They have a very comfortable, simplistic sort of existence. Where most of the people are sort of handling all the day-to-day stuff, and they get to kind of watch, make sure it's all going right, hire, fire, do all the stuff they need to do. But
and they get paid well for doing the things they do well, and that is closing deals, ramrodding things when there's 45 problems and you got 2 days to close. They're really good at checking off those things. But I'll even go one step further. Like I remember I used to work at a big brokerage in Riverside County, and we were doing our goals. And remember, have you ever heard of Brian Buffini? He's like a real estate guru, and he had this class we were all taking, and we were all gonna like 10x our business. We were all gonna go from 40,000 to 400,000. And I remember I finally embraced the idea that I could make $400,000 selling real estate. And a couple of my buddies that like knew me, I wasn't a $400,000 like income producer. I was not, okay? And I wasn't close to that, okay? I'll be clear. I was like a quarter of that, okay?
Yeah, like the Miller Lite.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So my buddies sort of, I could see that sort of smile on this corner of their mouth, like, 400,000.
Jim actually thinks he's gonna do it.
Exactly. But you know what I did for them? This was the first time I ever really remember influencing people in our industry. As I said, hey guys, let's sit down and figure out what that really means. And what I really wanted is I felt like I knew what my expenses were. I knew I needed to make like $55,000 to pay my house payment, my car payment, my gas, my immediate living expenses. And I had like a retirement dream, and I had all of the stuff that I was saving money and schooling funds and things like that. So I really figured I needed $120,000 to live. And from there, what were my business expenses? What were my marketing expenses? What were all the giveaways that I have? Everything all tied in. I had to make $400,000 if I wanted to make if I wanted to put $120,000 into my family.
Right.
And when I laid it out for them, now Brian Buffini had been talking to us for weeks on how to put this whole thing together.
Yeah.
They just had a problem with the $400,000 because it's a belief.
Yeah.
And a couple nights ago, I know we were all out, a bunch of us, and we were talking about that space between your ears.
Right.
I'm really loving the idea of, I spend more time probably than ever kind of worried about that space between my ears, trying to figure out, like, how is it that I can get the same amount of output from the energy that I can produce. And I look at people like, I look at amazing. There's amazing. Without mentioning names, there's all these guys, and these are guys that own 10,000 apartment units.
Yeah.
Okay. These are guys that when they go out and they find a 350 unit apartment building, they just put together a syndicate, or they already have the team in place. They don't have to put it together.
Sure.
And they just purchased the property. I was down at the Phoebe Christmas party with you guys, and I got to talk to these two guys. And these guys were real intense. These guys were, I would call them top tier kind of players in this game. They very much understood the words. They had a really good rap, and essentially acquisitions and finance.
Yeah.
And so they have a fund, and their minimum investment's $50,000.
Wow.
They pay 9%.
Wow.
They pay quarterly dividends at 9%, and as long as, they have a formula, as long as it fits the formula, just like I know you have a formula,
Yep.
I have a formula.
Yep.
As long as it fits it, they purchase. And my sense is that there was no, like, the skies was the limit for them. You're gonna have to help me. What kind of filings were now they can sell securities?
They probably did a Reg D, like a 506.
So they were doing their best to. I believe what they were saying is they just got that capability.
Okay.
Okay. So now they can advertise. Okay, that was the big thing for them.
Okay.
And essentially what they tried to say was, yeah, we want to buy 3,000 units.
Oh, then that would be a Regulation D 506C3.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Todd, there's a reason I'm here, man. And that's it right there, okay?
Just so you can nerd out on my
well, no, I love it.
Of
no, I don't think it's nerd out. I don't think it's nerd out. I think it's in order, if you want to purchase 3,000 units a year,
yeah.
Okay, and just so we're clear, 3,000 units a year in Southern California, those units produce at least $12,000 to $2,000 a month. So can we do the math that quickly? What's 1,500 times 3?
4,500.
Okay, so 4,500 times 1,000 would be $450,000 a month in income. I think I'm correct.
You're doing
on
that
that
wrong. That's a
yeah. Is that what it is?
4,500 times 1,000
is $4,500,000.
Yeah.
So $4,500,000 in income a month.
Yeah.
Times 12.
Times 12.
It's about $500 million a year in income.
A month.
They're going to produce
a month. Oh, times 12. You're talking about
for a
year.
yearly
Got
income. $500 million. They're going to produce that this year.
Wow.
Okay. And if you don't. I mean, I'm a guy who I don't think I've dreamed that big. Okay, I really don't. I mean, it would be neat, and that, but I haven't been able to wrap my head around a vehicle that could get me to $500 million a year in income. That's not equity position. That's income. Okay,
Sure.
now I got to pay out a majority of it, but I don't mind paying 90% out on my on my $500 million. I've decided I'm going to pay that out.
Yeah.
I might even go to 94%.
Yeah.
Okay, but understanding the Series D,
Regulation D, yeah.
Reg D, and what was the name of the
506C3, yeah.
Understanding how that operates, how to put it together, the components of it, what items are needed to actually make that a legal entity.
Yeah.
What kind of reporting is needed? What kind of accounting you need for that?
Well, I think what's important to mention at this point, since we're talking about Reg D, is that this is not an attempt to sell securities. We're not broker dealers. We know nothing about this stuff. Talk to your securities attorney. Talk to your financial advisor and your accountants about anything you plan to do with syndications, because we're just a couple guys talking about it on the radio. We pretend to know what we're talking about. Let's just assume that. Don't take our advice.
I
and
gotta
go
tell
run
you,
with
man,
it.
that was done you're a champion. Like, I can tell they have a really good captain at the ship.
It's like all of a sudden there's these red lights
flags
start
are going
dinging
off?
in my mind. I'm like, okay, we gotta
tone it down a little bit.
This is the moment where my attorney's having a field. He's freaking out over there in the corner. Yeah.
Well, what I love about it is there's somebody listening to the show right now that is saying to themselves, wow, I got to check that out.
But that's big leagues. You know what I mean? Like, I remember going to a conference years ago and they started talking about this stuff. You know, like, you hear about, putting together deals with other people's money, right?
Mhm.
Like OPM, like other people's money. It's the coup
It's
de
so
grace.
sexy, isn't it?
I know,
Yeah.
yeah. Because you're thinking, I don't have any money.
The problem is the people want to be paid back.
Yeah, they do. But, you don't have any money. And if you want to get into this business, you can do it with no money in your pocket. But you need other people's money. And if you start playing with other people's money, you need to know the regulations and the rules involved. Because if you screw up, you're risking jail time. You're risking some serious problems. So, it's a big time. When you really get good at this business, you can really start employing that on a much higher level and start bringing capital. And then these syndications where you're buying 3,000 units at a time, it's just, you're just like, it's just another Reg D filing. It's just another thing. We're just putting together a new fund for this. So once you understand the concept of it, and once you've done it a couple times, especially on the smaller scale, then you can talk about the high level stuff where you're buying a skyscraper, and you're buying not just a skyscraper, but multiple skyscrapers. Pretty much what Donald Trump did.
It's interesting, isn't it?
It is very interesting.
And I have to tell you, I love coming to the crg.org site.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
I don't even know what that is.
You don't have crg.org? Of course I know you
You're
do.
probably talking about crg.email.
Oh, them too. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm such an idiot. I thought it was crg.org.
No big deal.
It's crg.email.
crg.email.
So at that site, okay, when I logged in, you guys sent out a lot of really good information. Okay, it was nice to see that come back, and I guess really when I start looking to who I'm going to kind of replicate, and that's really, come on, that's all we do, right?
Yeah.
I mean, being able to see good information that's published properly, that's well thought out, it's something that you guys are going to laugh at me, but just a couple of days ago, I remember looking through my email because once you go to, it's the crg.email, and then you put in your information, and then you get a big package of stuff back.
Yeah, you get a big email from us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I remembered, I was like, oh, I could use that. I remember seeing it somewhere, and then I remembered it was from that email. So I'm going back. I mean, I signed up for that like months ago,
Yeah.
and I'm going back through my email trying to figure out where I'd saved it, and then boom, I found it, and I was able to get the information I was looking for. But that's back to the education part of this. It's like that's the part I love, and I love being able to kind of hook up with all of these different people, and so how did I get into real estate? I failed miserably at a lot of different things. I figured out that real estate is really cool because of the ready available of cash. You can go to any bank and get a loan for a house.
Oh, yeah.
If you wanted to buy a jet, not a lot of banks are in the business of writing $40 million loans for my G6,
your jet habit, yeah.
my big jet that I've got.
Right.
Okay. Or a friend of mine was talking about, hey, I know where this jet, it's worth $20 million. We could probably buy it cheap, and we could put these new motors on it that are more silent that meet the regulations of today.
Sure.
So yeah, you got to spend $1 million to upgrade the motors. Okay. But now you've got something you can resell for a nice profit.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, it's essentially the business we're in already.
Yeah.
The problem is that there's 5 banks we can walk to here, and I'll bet you none of them will give me a loan to A, purchase the jet, or to B, put $1 million into the upgrade of it.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM.
I'm Tom Busby, CNBC. Wall Street giving up some early gains today, finishing lower following a snag in the GOP tax cut bill. At least one Republican senator vowed to vote against the current bill as is, unless the child tax credit was expanded. At the close, the Dow down 76 points, the Nasdaq down 19. Disney needs more content. That's for its upcoming subscription video channels and to better compete against Netflix. Now it's paying $52 billion for a big chunk of Fox, including several cable channels, its Hollywood film studio, and its massive library. Campbell Soup approaching Snyder's Lance. That makes the maker of Stella D'Oro cookies, Pop Secret, Cape Cod chips, and other snacks about buying the company out. Sears now selling its die-hard batteries, chargers, and other products on Amazon. And toolmaker Stanley Black & Decker adding 500 jobs in South Carolina, planning to build a new DeWalt tool factory there. Tom Busby, CNBC.
Have pain you can't ignore? Then try first-in-class relief from Salonpas. Salonpas pain relief patches have everything you need in one clinically proven solution. They're the strongest label pain reliever available without a prescription, safely relieving pain for up to 12 hours. And Salonpas is the first and only FDA-approved OTC topical pain reliever. For first-in-class relief, get Salonpas pain relief patches in the green box with a blue wave.
That's the sound of your in-law's cat perched over your bed at 3 a.m. You wanted to save money this holiday, so you settled for their house. Now you're staring into the eyes of pure evil. If you booked a hotel on Priceline, you could have saved up to 60%. That's up to $120 a night. Plus, you'd be in your own comfortable, cat-free room. Save up to 60% on hotels when you book on Priceline, and get the deals you won't find anywhere else.
Express deals are different. Exact hotel shown only after booking.
Yeah, you. Do you know where you are? Well, you've done it now. You're listening to KCAA Loma Linda, your CNBC news station. So expect